try to catch people up as they come in and join the chat. I'm not happy. So apparently, and this is going to be a long story because I know a little bit about this. Former friends of mine, now former, are using this writer for the Deseret News. Hollywood Insider much? No, not really. To basically say that Jon Favreau said he wasn't retconning the sequel trilogy. First off, the story came from January 28th, 2021. Hi, Jonathan. So this is over a year old. Second of all, the story, hey Sci-Fi Universe, basically contradicts itself. And then it goes on to quote Doomcock? Let me tell you something about Herb Scribner. I think it was last May, a year ago, maybe later, maybe earlier. He showed up on an EBN live stream on a Saturday night. And look, I'd already done the connections. Herb Scribner gets all of his stories from Jason Ward. You remember him? Making Star Wars.nut. The guy who gatekept for Kathleen Kennedy, who basically was being followed by Kennedy's official account. And on Twitter, the guy that Chewbacca basically called out for grooming underage girls. The Jeffrey Epstein, Hugh Hefner / Harvey Weinstein of the SJWs. Herb Scribner is connected to him. Now, there was a Reddit leak, after the Gina fiasco, where basically it seemed like the person was writing from inside of Lucasfilm and basically said Jason Ward got all of his leaks. Hey, White Phoenix, from Pablo Hidalgo. Now we've got this rumor again in the Black Pills basically chanting that it's true. This is an old article. I think he wrote another one, but they're so old. And Herb Scribner is not a Hollywood Insider. If you want to talk to a Hollywood Insider, please hit the likes too, guys, please. That would help. There's 6 people in the chat, and sure would love to see some likes up there. Thank you in advance. If you want a Hollywood Insider, go to Matt Bellany at Puck. Okay? He really is. All right? Go to Cameron. You know? I don't know what's going on, but it's almost what John 42 say. It's like, or no, maybe it was somebody else on Cameron Patreon. It's like watching shit hitting the fan and it flying everywhere. The problem that I've got with all this is that first off, the article is terribly written. All right, it's just a poorly written story. And when this is over, if I remember, I will put a link in the description of this so you guys can go read it for yourself. All right, because it's horrendous. It goes in, and that says one thing, then it contradicts that one thing, then it contradicts something else, and then it quotes people out of context and didn't say what they said. All right. Again, Scribner is a connection with Jason Ward. Jason Ward is not a Star Wars fan. Jason Ward is a person who will never be anybody except a criminal. He will never amount to anything. And the only reason why anybody knows who he is because he's been gatekeeping for the Shells and the story group ever since Kennedy took over. All right. Ward is famous on the Force.net. He got kicked off there for trolling Hi, Ezio. And he's been known to go on to people's YouTube channels and troll. He's been known to bully fans so badly that at least one that I know of attempted suicide. Okay, he was doing this for Kennedy and the Story Group. All right, it's now obvious. You know, we don't need any direct links. All right, I mean the proof. There's too much circumstantial evidence anymore. And Ichibaka at Disney Star Wars is Dumb did a fantastic job looking into all this. So we get this guy named Herb Scribner. You ever see what he looked like? This guy is a beta male on steroids. I don't think he ever had actual mother's milk in his life. I think it was all just soy. Okay, he does. Anytime there's something going on, he gets a hold. Oh, I hope so. Sci-fi universe. So you know, if Ward has something he wants to say, and I'll tell you something, Deseret News, you know, it's not like it's going to Variety. It's not like it's going to Deadline, or the Hollywood Reporter, or the Atlantic, or to Puck. It's going to the Deseret News. Okay, so this isn't an inside source, first off. Second of all, again, Scribner's connections. Third of all, it's a crappy, shitty written, terrible story. I mean, it's like, dude, wherever you went to journalism school, they should just take away your diploma, because you suck. I mean, you know, Walter Cronkite could kick you out on your ass. I mean, you know, even Dan Rather, the biggest lying, plagiaristic F in the world, wouldn't put up with this shit. He's just a bad. I mean, Herb Scribner is a shitty reporter. Okay, he really, really is. So he puts this out there. People that Jason Ward hates, EBN, everybody at Geeks and Gamers, everybody runs with it. And now it's back again after a fucking year. They don't have anything else to talk about, do they? All right. You know, people are scrambling for subscribers. Question, if you've got a job, why do you need money from a YouTube channel? Good question to ask. What is your goal, if not to talk about Star Wars and you know, help fix what was wrong with it? That's my goal. All right, that's why I come on here. You know, I'm not sitting here, please pay me. It's not how I work. All right. There's no respect anymore for the franchise, even on that side of the fandom. And I'm calling people out and they know who they are. You had this Scribner on there. Cameron totally tore him into a little bits of confetti on his Patreon. The guy, I mean, but this is a difference between actually having an education and being a fat fanboy with a freaking mohawk haircut. Herb Scribner, last time I saw him, you know, there's a reason why I'm done. All right, this isn't about the franchise. This ceased being about the franchise. This ceased being about what's good, what's best for the fandom. It is now who can be more negative and get more subscribers, who can earn more money, and who can shit on their fellow YouTubers when they disagree. Okay, I'm just being honest. That's what it is. I don't want to talk about this shit. All right? I don't feel like I should talk about this shit. But ever since Scribner showed up on EBN and then wouldn't sit around to answer questions, I knew he was full of shit. I was in the chat saying he's lying. And I think I also mentioned Jason Ward. And at that point, he decided to leave. Okay. Well, White Phoenix, it's the crazy train. You get on Valiant and Cameron, and you actually have an intelligent conversation. Mike, intelligent conversation. Andre, but it's like the rest are like, you know, there are legitimate things to be upset about. All right, they actually did. There are things that they wanted to, legitimately, that there are legitimately things to be pissed off about. But when you start look at it, like, let's talk about Lord of the Rings. It actually has nothing to do with anything Tolkien wrote. They can't use a Silmarillion. They can't really use anything he wrote. So it's like, well, why? Why? Okay, you just sit there, say, I'm not going to watch it, it goes away. All right, that's all you do. Okay, with the High Republic, no one's reading it. No one, I mean, despite what Cineblend or Blade or whatever that little faggot calls himself on Insta, said, thanks, the Acolyte has its status, and the personnel on that page on IMDb Pro has not changed since December 18th, December 8th. I would think they'd start moving on this, but there's nothing on there. And the excuse is, well, they just haven't updated it yet, is bullshit. Because they sure as hell updated it with that black girl. Okay? Whom I know, I have a very devout friend who's married to a white man, but if her daughter came back saying that she was non-binary, she would kill her. All right? I mean, that's right there for everybody to hear. Bullshit. All right? I don't care. Why is this a thing? They don't even know why it's a thing. They just do it. It's kind of like the Joker. I don't know why I do things. Of course, Carla. Sci-fi universe. If the board, it's gonna, then it's gonna happen. If the board of directors is like, we're done, I would think that the High Republic authors and the story group would be going, shit, but because they swing to the left, they know nothing about economics, just like the black pills, they're going to end up being flat-footed. You have to look at the financials. You have to look at, again, I said this yesterday, the rise of Palpatine only came out in 2019. It's not like it's going to be retconned now. So to the people, where is it? Where's the retcon? Fuck off. All right? There are still 5 people out there that keep talking about it. All right? Zelfred, this article was from January of 2021. So it's over a year old. And it came back because I don't know, RK Outpost or somebody decided to resurrect its ugly head. Or maybe EBN had dipshit Scribner on there. Hey, how does it feel to be a puppet of Jason Ward? How does it feel? It would be very, very smart of these guys, if they haven't done it, to do this. Go and look to see what Itchy found out about Ward. Okay? Then decide if you want to be part of that group. All right? I mean, that's what this is. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't, you think, you give people benefit of the doubt thinking they're smarter than they are. And then they shock you with utter stupidity. Okay? And I'm like, I'm at a loss. I really, really am. But this article is old. And I think he wrote another article, Scribner did, in which it basically was the same thing. But Jason Ward was mentioned. And that was my deet, 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 deet. I know where this is coming from. I know where this is coming from. It's coming from the bad place. All right, so what do? Instead of going, I need to actually check this out more before I go with it. My subscribers deserve more. They run with it. Why? More subscribers, more views, more AdSense money. Again, if you have an actual job, why do you need to go on YouTube and make money? Okay? Spinning bullshit like this hurts everybody. All right? I am not here spinning things. I just don't see financially that it can. And if Sci-Fi Universe is right, why would Disney put more money into something that didn't make any money in the first place? And them hawking the High Republic. A supernova burns the brightest before it implodes. Or as Cameron likes to say, a bulb burns brightest right before it goes out. All right? No money in it. All right? We're now in a time where Disney is slowly gathering itself up. People are going to bitch and moan that prices are too high, la, 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 and I would love to see them drop their prices, and maybe they will once they're out of this financial cul-de-sac. But we've got their debt load, the fact that they're going to be worming their way out of the COVID shit for a long time. The stuff that Iger put in place is terrible. The hotel. And that video with Matt Martin was just as bad as the other one. You know how beta males don't have any personality? There you go. No personality. Absolutely none. It does not exist. He is like this. He really is an NPC. Oh, they'll be able to go back and forth. And my thing about Lord of the Rings is that, from what I gathered, it's going to literally have nothing to do with the Silmarillion because they can't use it. So it's really not even Lord of the Rings. I don't know. They're doing, AMC is doing a series on Lestat. I mean, first off, I'm not an Anne Rice fan. I think she is a very mixed up, sad woman. She wrote a couple of really beautiful books about the early life of Christ. And then she left the church because the church will not condone homosexual marriage. It just won't. It's not marriage. Sorry to tell you that. As a Catholic, I'm sorry. I love you, but I don't love what you do. Okay, that is a mortal, grave sin. Okay, now out there in the real world, I keep that to myself. And that's what I do. But she left again. And she's responsible for some really tawdry, seedy culture, like the vampire stuff. Giving the vampire an almost anti-hero persona rather than what they are, which is, cadavers that are, conscious, kind of, and kill people and eat and drink blood and turn everybody else around them into a vampire. I mean, the last true vampire story that I can remember is the 1985 version, or 83 version, I think, of Fright Night with Chris Sarandon. I mean, that thing, Jerry Dandridge wasn't going to go sparkly, okay? But Anne Rice opened the door for Twilight and all the rest of that shit, okay? It's just bad writing. And she made a lot of money. She affected a lot of people. She did a lot of things. She inspired a lot of people. But still, when you look at the legacy, it's like, this isn't great. She's not Charles Dickens. She'll write anything that's going to be, that was ever edifying. She just wrote these horror stories where, satanic demons are the heroes. I'm sorry. It's disgusting. But anyway, but she was an old hippie, and those people don't get it. Yeah, she didn't. I mean, the corpse literally is still warm, and they're doing this. So the outrage from the Twilight moms and the rest should be very interesting. The occultists and the rest of it should be hilarious. But no, the Ring of Power isn't really gonna be anything that has to do with anything Tolkien wrote, because they can't use it. They can't use any of it. And it's going to be different. And it's what I think you guys should wait for is just see what happens, because it's not going to do well. Bezos gave him $1 billion. The showrunners are friends of JJ. Actually, Raylos are former Twilight fans. That's where those little bitches came from. Okay? All right. That's where they all came from. Maybe they'll go to DC and be Batman fans, since Edward is now Batman. They can leave us alone in our happy little, But anyway, no, I want to get back to this. It's disappointing. Go for it. I mean, if you want, go for it, because that's because he's their friends. My thing is, you know what? If we're wrong, we're wrong. But that's not what I'm seeing. I'm not delusional. I actually read. All right, I'm a very well-educated person. I've when I look at, but here's the deal. When you look at these channels, none of these guys have done anything in their lives. They've never been successful in anything. They don't have the skill set to read between the lines. They don't understand finance at all. They don't understand storytelling. I mean, all right, let's go back to when Luke showed up in Mando, episode 16. A year before that, I was telling Mazuris, it's going to be Luke. It's writing 101, it has to be Luke. I get a message from him that the hour it dropped, and he's sobbing. He was so happy. All right, I was right. Why? Because I have a feel for where they're going to go with it. All right? They don't have to retcon the sequel trilogy. They can just put it off into an alternate universe, never to be seen again. Okay? And look, the Raylos don't care. They're already gone. They don't look. I mean, they're literally they're fewer and fewer numbers all the time. All right, the attention span of a millennial or a Zoomer who's into that shit is about a goldfish. Okay, and they're not. I don't think they're stalking Adam anymore. Even though he was going into an award show or a dinner, and there were a bunch of girls screaming at him. Oh, it was just gross. I mean, recently, so maybe, there still are some, but not enough to make a difference. When you look at the fact that nobody in the top part of Disney even knows Twitter exists. You know, the only person I've ever found anywhere on social media is Susan Arnold. That's it. Okay. Only time I've seen it. I've seen her. And it's really interesting to me watching all this play out. Yeah, it's just gonna, they're not, because Disney can't afford it. And when I see people I used to respect with Herb Scribner, having him on for any reason, you know, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I can't. I mean, I don't have respect for somebody who's connected to somebody who's, I'll tell you something about Jason Ward. Jason Ward used to use pictures of his wife, Amanda, to lure men into sending him money. That's fraud. Okay, that's out there. Chewbacca wrote about it. That's Jason Ward. He's a criminal. All right. Then I see his friend, Herb Scribner, get to go on EBN. It sickens me. This sickens me. Okay. If you have someone on, when I get this all figured out and I can do that, if I have somebody on my show, all right, I'm going to know their bio. I'm gonna have them checked out. There's no way I'm gonna have someone like that on my show. He's not a journalist, okay? He's a messenger. He's a propagandist. He is a misinformation. Oh, Cameron, you're right. I mean, and that article was written on January 28th, 2021, and they resurrected it? All right, again, for the recap, when Herb Scribner showed up on EBN, I found the article he wrote, and it was like, there's a later article too, I think, like from around April or May, or maybe it was that one, and I was offended, but he showed up on EBN, okay, and I was in the chat saying, you know, he's a friend of Jason Ward, blah, 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 and the moment I started saying that, he left. He said, I gotta go, I've got stuff I've gotta do, and he left. You know, again, you've gotta check these people out because they're not gonna hurt you as much as they're gonna hurt your subscribers because they're lying. And maybe Scribner doesn't know he's lying. He's just a messenger, okay? You know, Itchy had Ward down pegged, okay? Then there's that Reddit article basically saying that Jason got his leaks from Pablo. So guess what? When you start using Herb Scribner, you're being a puppet of Pablo Hidalgo. Yeah, he did. And, you know, I liked it. I mean, it's one of those things where I wanted to ask him, you know, where did you come up with this theory? Because you quote people out of context. You said something opposite of what they said. You know, and he's literally just a lying, you know, but again, if he shows up, you need to know where and who he's connected to, all right? It's not that hard. I mean, he even said there was an article, I think it was the second article, he even said he got this leak this information from Jason Ward. I'm like, there you go. There you go. You know, the pervert of the SJW clique. Okay? What a source. What a, talk about integrity. Are you kidding me? Are you? There's no way. No way. I would have that guy on because it would make me look bad and it would hurt my subscribers. All right? Because that crowd has done nothing but divide the fandom. And oh, by the way, they're still doing it with this shitless STs not being retconned. That is where is the money in the sequel trilogy? Oh, it doesn't exist, does it? Okay, I don't need a PhD in finance and an MBA to figure that one out. Just go to Ollie's, shelves of arrays from TFA. All right? Hasbro won't make them. You go onto eBay, you can get a ray. You can get a ray for $12. I saw a 6-inch ray for $3. Here, take it. I don't want it anymore. And I literally, I've got a troll on here right now. This is Geeks R Us. I'm sure it's either connected to one of the black pills or, some Pablo Hidalgo, Jason Ward thing, so I'm just, none of my blue wrenches are in, so here we are. There has got to be a point where people put the fans and everything ahead of everything else. Okay? And right now, people aren't doing that. You don't have someone like Herb Scribner on there. He's attached to Jason Ward. Okay? All right? He is. You don't have somebody like that. We all know who Jason Ward is. We all know. That's okay, H Boomer. We all know who Jason Ward is. All right? We all know who Pablo is. They're manipulating everybody right now, except for me and Cameron and Mike and everybody else, because we're like, where's the Quan? It doesn't exist. And they can sit there and say, oh, it made money. Then they'll quote gross box office. And gross box office is not what Disney took home. Net box office was about 1.52 billion. They lost billions on the merchandise. All right? I think they probably invested with the parks in buying Lucasfilm $7 billion, maybe 10, because they had to rebuild the park in California because they violated code. Another $1 billion gone. But they're making so much money. And who's delusional? Okay? If I'm looking at the spreadsheet, I'm doing this. We can't do this. We have to, and if the board of directors wants it to be gone, then it's gone. Because they're the ones them and the investors are the ones that run the company. They're the ones that run the company. It's not that difficult to figure out. So why are we sitting here? Oh, I know why. Because somebody in the Shell side posted a Screen Rant article saying, oh my God, they're going to make a Ray trilogy. There's nothing on IMDb Pro. There's nothing on the Lucasfilm list as a feature movie, but Indy 5. There hasn't been a Star Wars feature movie made and in planning, like on its way to being made, since The Rise of Skywalker in 2017. So, yeah, see that? And it went Well, Cameron posted it went completely the other way. You know, went completely the other way. Gee, this guy just wants to. We've got a real troll in her. Coach, did you know that Scribner was connected to Jason Ward? Do you understand why I was pissed? Why would anybody have that? And now, you guys are running around repeating everything that side said, verbatim. You don't listen to me. You don't listen to anybody else. You're listening to people who, A, they don't care. B, they're desperately trying to save what they think is good because they see the leadership. I did. Stop the black pilling. Stop letting people like Scribner, who's connected to the bad guys, tell you what to think. Okay? I read the article. You're a teacher. You can't tell me that thing said anything. This person must have about 5 million troll accounts. You can't tell me it. Yet it's true. What are you talking about? I mean, I don't have an MBA in finance or a master's in finance. I'm not a financial person, but I know what gross box office versus net box office is. I know that the merchandise didn't sell. And I also pretty much have heard, not just from Sci-Fi Universe, but from others, the board isn't happy. But hey, the sequel trilogy is going to be there. They made, whose imagination did that come up with? People who don't want good things to happen because they're worried about their, see, I don't know where this person came from, but if I find out this jackass came from a channel that I used to be a member of, I am going to hunt that person down and I'm going to embarrass them. Okay? You get control of yourselves. You know? I mean, I don't get it. It is not that hard to put two and two together. It really isn't. You know, of course they're gonna trump up the High Republic. That's the only thing they got. The Acolyte's not going anywhere, even though I humiliated Cineblend yesterday. I mean, I have an IMDb Pro account. I decided I'm going to go do that. I'm going to spend money on that. That thing hasn't been touched since December for the Acolyte. Okay? You know. And it's literally just, I'm literally completely bemused by this, that people are allowing themselves to be manipulated like that. And then they look at people like me who are telling them, look at the money, there's no money in it, like we're crazy. Okay? Again, there are people out there in the fandom who don't want this good stuff to happen. And it's not EBN. It is the bigger sites. It is bigger channels. They don't want it to happen because they will lose a lot of clout. Okay? And they don't have the skill set to understand it. They don't. Okay? Kennedy, we wake up tomorrow and Kennedy's announced her resignation, which is going to happen sooner rather than later. You know? And, you know, there we go. Okay? And it's like, what'll happen? People will be going, great. Then looking at people saying, well, you know, you said she was going to be there forever. Again, this has everything to do with money. A lot of these channels were built on hating The Last Jedi. Okay? And Kathleen Kennedy. moment she's gone, it's like the episode or that off Family Guy thing where the coyote finally catches the roadrunner, and they're eating dinner, and his friend looks at him and says, "What are you gonna do now?" And the coyote's just sat there like, "See, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, you know, it's really funny, but I'm really just going, I can't believe it. After all this time, you know, and Kennedy, let's talk about her. Hey, Dan, hey, Dave, let's talk about Kathleen. Indy 5, after Doomcock's rumors show up in the Daily Mail, suddenly gets pushed back a year from its release. They're gonna wrap filming this week. They should have wrapped in October. She loses Rogue Squadron, Taika Waititi's movie. She loses Children of Blood and Bone. The only thing she's got is The Acolyte. I don't even consider The High Republic anything to really freak out about. All right, and yet we're sitting here. Kathy Kennedy's the most powerful woman in the world. All right, no, she's not. The most powerful woman in Hollywood is Susan Arnold now. Oh, I know. They can, look, that person's either from G&G or it's one of it's Junkman or, Kadish's buddy, or maybe Kadish himself, or somebody like somebody from the Making Star Wars or Star Wars Explained or something, or at chat. When you tell the people the truth, they don't like it. All right? They don't like it. You're not going to be popular for being truthful. I don't care. Okay? And if people are mad at me, good. Don't be mad at me. I'm just telling you what's going on. I mean, these are the facts. Kennedy has nothing but Indy 5 now she's working on. Acolyte should be gathering forces, and it's sitting there in stasis, like carbonite, just going like that. Where is it? What's, I mean, that's what we know. Now we got rumors coming out, Doomcock had it too, that the board wants her gone, and they don't. Now, apparently they don't want the sequel trilogy at all. See, Comics R Us is somebody who doesn't, probably about 15 years old, or maybe they're 45 and haven't really matured. So they come on here and try to have a knowledgeable conversation, and they don't want you to. They're afraid. Again, afraid. I'm not. I don't really care. The sequel trilogy's done. There's no money in it. Okay, and if that frightens people like Comics R Us and every other iteration, if that bothers Jason Ward, if it bothers Molly and Alex over at Star Wars Explained, I don't care. I don't care. They were losing clout the moment TLJ came out, because people got pissed. They sold their souls for this, okay? I think Ichibaka even talked about how Jason Ward was actually kind of charged with driving the old fan base away. All right? And again, back to Scribner. The article is over a year old, okay? The article is over a year old. he is connected to Jason Ward and connected to Pablo. So anyway, I gotta go. I'm gonna go and do some stuff. I don't know what yet, but I still got some stuff to do in the kitchen. You guys be good. And I'm getting messages from England, so I gotta check them out. And have a good afternoon. And hey, if Coach, if you're mad at me, you know, I'm not happy with you guys, okay? I'm not happy with you guys, all right? Letting the fandom get divided over this when it's bullshit. The Screen Rant article is bullshit. The Baver thing was, I mean, I read it and I was going, there's nothing here. You know, now we got the Scribner thing raising its ugly head again. I read the article. I read both. It was written by a 5-year-old. All right? Start listening to other people. Start listening to Cameron. He knows what he's talking about. And he hasn't been wrong ever on this. Steph, signing out. I'll see